The rain came down in angry sheets, drumming against the tin roof of a small auto shop at the edge of town. Inside, the fluorescent lights flickered weakly as Ethan Cole, a 27-year-old mechanic with grease-stained hands and a heart too big for his pay grade, tightened the last bolt on an old pickup. He sighed, rubbing the back of his neck. It was late, close to midnight. The storm had knocked out power in half the town, and his phone buzzed with an emergency alert about flooded roads. He thought of locking up and heading home, but something inside told him to stay just a little longer. Moments later, headlights cut through the rain. A sleek black Mercedes pulled into the lot, its luxury shape out of place among the old rusted cars. The door opened, and a woman stumbled out, drenched and trembling. "Please, do you have shelter? My car just died," she said, her voice barely audible over the storm. Ethan grabbed a dry towel and rushed over. "You're soaked. Come inside before you catch your death out here." She hesitated, eyeing the greasy floor and flickering lights, clearly uncomfortable. But thunder cracked overhead and pride lost to necessity. Inside, she removed her wet blazer, revealing a tailored blouse. Her diamond watch caught the dim light as she wrapped the towel around her shoulders. "Thanks, I didn't expect to end up in a place like this," she said softly, managing a faint smile. Ethan chuckled. "Trust me, ma'am, this place is exactly on anyone's vacation list. Coffee." She nodded. "Black, please." As the kettle hissed, he studied her face, sharp features, tired eyes, the look of someone used to control but shaken tonight. "You live around here?" he asked. She hesitated. "No, I was driving back from a conference. I'm Claire Donovan, CEO of Donovan Industries." Ethan blinked. "The Donovan Industries, the one that builds the fancy cars I can't afford to fix." She laughed for the first time that night. "Yeah, that one." For a moment, the storm outside didn't matter. They talked about her pressure-filled life, his struggles keeping the shop open, and the loneliness that somehow threaded through both their worlds despite the difference in wealth. He showed her a photo pinned to the wall, a little boy with a gap-toothed grin. "My kid brother," he said. "I've raised him since our folks passed. Guess you could say he's the reason I work like a madman." Claire's smile softened. "You're doing a good job. You remind me of why I started my company, to make a difference. Somewhere along the way, I forgot that." Just then, the lights flickered again and went out completely. Without thinking, Ethan grabbed a flashlight and pulled an old blanket from the back room. "Here, take this. The generator's down, but it's warm enough. You can sleep on the couch." "You?" she asked. "I'll be fine, done this plenty of times." But when lightning flashed and thunder shook the walls, Claire flinched. Ethan quietly pulled up a chair nearby, just to make her feel safer. Hours passed. The rain softened. She drifted off to sleep, listening to the hum of his steady breathing. By morning, the storm was gone. Sunlight poured through the window, and Claire woke to find Ethan outside fixing her car, sleeves rolled up, hair damp from sweat, not rain this time. She walked over, watching him work, so focused, so genuine. For the first time in years, she saw not what money could buy, but what heart could give. "How much do I owe you?" she asked when he finished. He wiped his hands on a rag. "Don't worry about it, just glad you're safe." She frowned. "At least let me pay for your time." He shook his head. "Sometimes kindness doesn't need a price tag." Something shifted in her eyes then, a quiet realization. A week later, Ethan received an envelope in the mail. Inside was a business card, a handwritten note, and a check. "Ethan, your kindness reminded me what leadership truly means. I want to help you expand your shop. Let's build something that matters together. Claire." 6 months later, the grand opening of Cole and Donovan Motors drew half the town. Ethan stood beside Claire as reporters snapped photos, but he barely noticed the cameras. He just smiled at her, the woman who had once been lost in a storm, now standing beside him in the sun. As the ribbon cut and cheers erupted, Claire leaned close and whispered, "Funny how one storm can change two lives." He grinned. "Guess sometimes the best things don't happen despite the storm, but because of it." And as they looked up at the clear blue sky, it felt like life had finally stopped